crime and the fear of crime are serious concerns in Modesto. How do you suggest that the city deal with those concerns without additional funding, assuming the failure of MeasureX?
Dave hit the nail on the head. The biggest problem we have is the salaries and the pensions. And we just had an election, I guess when Garrett was elected the mayor, and one of the things that came up was, should we have 401ks instead of the PERS program? And I think that passed pretty overwhelmingly. And I know they explored that a little bit. And when they explored it, I think what they found was the size of the nut. Well, we still have that nut to crack. And I would like to see a strategy that's worked out with the police department about tiers, different tiers that had different amounts of money, different ways they could attack this, and then maybe propose those in terms of quarter cent, half cent, 3/4 cent. But this tax is very enormous and it impacts everyone. And I haven't seen the effort made to reduce pensions. We really have 2 police forces and 2 fire departments. One that's active now and one that's retired. Nothing personal, of course, everybody has to retire. But that is our problem, and they are both very expensive. And we've got to figure out some ways to strategically reduce those costs. We have firefighters that go out, probably 90% of their calls are medical calls. We also have an ambulance company. I'm sure you've all seen it. There's a duplication of effort there. I'm not sure we need that. The consolidation of the fire department was a good step forward, but we still have miscues and we still have issues, and that's still losing money. We've got 2 fire stations out by the airport. They're within maybe 200 yards of each other. And something could be done with that, I believe. I haven't seen it, and I know the city and the county work on it from time to time, but it hasn't happened. So I think there are other ways that we could save the money, and I, again, would like to see the focus strictly for the police, and I'd like to see a new strategy in the police department and in the fire department to get the job done and let us know specifically what's going to happen. When you get a flyer that says, in one case, 33% more officers on the street, and then double in the next paragraph, you're kind of wondering, is this really thought out? I don't think it is a very good roadmap at this point.
I actually do believe when we say 33% increase, those are officers on the street responding to calls for service. The doubling is the gang detail. I've seen the spending plan that's been distributed by the city, and I believe the chief is proposing to double the number of officers on the gang unit. So there's where we get the 33% and the doubling. But Carol?
So I mean, I think the council has done everything they can legally do to specify how the money is going to be spent. It's all laid out in the resolution that they passed, which is 50% for public safety, 25% for street and local, 10% for general fund and benefits and workers' comp. They're very upfront about that. 15% for economic development, and the only way that can be changed is by a 2/3 vote of the council. So it may be that the city manager signs the checks, but at the end of the day, the council still has the power, and I believe that they will hold to the promise that they've made to the community and the audits that will be conducted by the Oversight Committee. I also will tell you something else later.